Why is Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency focusing so much attention on the Social Security Administration? What I'll argue in this video is that if you trust Musk and his motives to make the government, basically a tighter ship with less waste, fraud, and abuse, going after the Social Security Administration makes absolutely no sense. But if you don't trust his motives and if you think he's going to sabotage the government from the inside in order to benefit himself, it makes a ton of sense why he'd go after Social Security. So let me start with the basics. Social Security is funded top to bottom through your payroll tax contributions, including its administration. So when you pay 6.2% and your employer, or if you're self-employed, you pay another 6.2%, all of that finances Social Security, including the administration itself and all of the field offices. It doesn't get money from Congress to run Social Security. Social Security pays for its own administration through the same payroll tax contributions. It's a closed program. It doesn't get money from Congress. Well, you can go back to 1957 and see they have this table. I didn't minimize myself enough. They have this table to show you how much of your payroll tax dollars have gone to the administration of the agency. And you can see back in 1957, it was 2.2%. But if you fast forward to the 2020s and the 2010s, it's fallen to 0.5%, meaning that for all of the money that Social Security sends out the door, $1.5 trillion, they spend less than 1 cent of every dollar that goes out the door on administration. This is a tight ship, and arguably it has the lowest administrative cost of any program or any agency in the federal government. Now, past Social Security commissioners have said for about this period that this number is getting too low. That yes, it is a tight-run agency, but it's starting to slip on services. It needs to open more field offices, have them staffed to full levels, and have more phone line operators because more and more people are retiring every day. Social Security has never served such a high population, and they're doing so on a shoestring budget. And most commissioners would say that if there is a crisis in Social Security's administration, it's that they need more money and able to serve this incredibly large population of beneficiaries, 69 million in Social Security alone. The reason why their administration funding has fallen so low is that even though Social Security finances its own administration, it doesn't have permission to do so without Congress. So Congress tells Social Security how much money it can spend on administration. So even though it's not Congress's money and it's not coming from general revenue, Congress still tells Social Security how much to spend. So this is why Social Security commissioners have been lobbying Congress for years, expand our administrative budget so that we can serve more people. This is why it doesn't make sense for Elon Musk to be going there. I mean, if he's looking for waste, fraud, and abuse, he's going after the tightest ship in the federal government's portfolio. I mean, this is a massive program that basically operates off of a shoestring. I mean, there's very little waste, fraud, and abuse in the administration of Social Security, let alone in the benefits. But if you don't trust him, you can see why this is starting to become a problem. The Washington Post had reporting on this morning saying DOGE is struggling to find fraud in Social Security. So if you remember way back in the before times of January, Elon Musk said that the Department of Government Efficiency was going to find $2 trillion in savings. And detractors like myself pointed out there is no way to cut $2 trillion from the federal government spending without hitting Medicare or Social Security. I don't think Musk has changed his target. He wants to cut Social Security, but he has an administrative problem, or he has a political problem, which is that Trump promised on the campaign trail that your Social Security benefits wouldn't be touched. Therefore, they're trying to say that it's a program ridden with fraud. And so this article is about how hard they're trying to find evidence of widespread fraud and abuse in the Social Security Administration and Social Security benefits. And they are running into a brick wall. So everything you've heard about the old people getting benefits that are 100 or 200 or 300 years old, that was all completely fabricated by the quote unquote DOGE kids. They just made it up. It didn't come from any piece of evidence. They just lied about it. And even the acting Social Security commissioner, who himself is a DOGE acolyte, even he put out a statement that was okay, so they weren't right about this, and this is completely wrong. But they're trying to find fraud because what they're trying to convince you is that Social Security has so much fraud that cuts have to happen, but the cuts won't affect the good people. The cuts would only affect the bad people, aka the fraudsters. Well, I think in this, not knowing anything about the job you've embarked on is really working against Elon Musk, because Social Security also has one of the tightest anti-fraud systems in the United States. I mean, the article points out some amazing anecdotes about it, but the Office of Inspector General, which is in charge of making sure there is no fraud in Social Security, keep in mind Trump fired the guy in charge of it, that Office of Inspector General at Social Security has 500 people working in it. And their entire job is dedicated to making sure the $1.6 trillion that goes out the door to benefits goes out the door to benefits. They are very, very good at their job. And that Social Security's fraud often comes from overpayments, which means that someone collects longer than they should, and Social Security recovers the vast majority of overpayments. So you're talking that maybe, if you were to get down to pure brass tacks, how much the Social Security money goes to fraud, it's maybe $9 billion out of a $1.6 trillion outlay in total. That would still make it the least fraudulent spending in the federal government's portfolio. So he's attacked an agency that he is truly outgunned and outmatched. It has a very tight administrative budget, and it has virtually no fraud for a program its size. I mean, I think that what's happening is pretty obvious here. They're trying to create a political palatability for cutting the most popular, effective, and tightest run public program in the United States. It just happens to be the biggest. It's not a perfect program, but it's not wasteful. It does a very good job at what it is very good at the job that it does, which is a multi-generational compact that Americans make with each other, that if we work hard, we don't have to end our lives in abject poverty. And if someone who promised you that they were going to protect that is now inventing lies about the program, you have to be really suspect about their motives. Why is Elon Musk and the Department of